Augment Code has officially released their context engine as an MCP, so you can use it in any agent you want to give it superpowers. In our internal benchmarks with different agents, it's consistently improved the code quality. On top of that, you can get faster results and less token spend. And to celebrate this launch, it's free to try for a limited time. You get 1000 context engine MCP calls to use with any agent. You don't even have to download anything. You can set up the remote MCP, which can be as easy as adding one line to your agent. This is part of the new context services that Augment Code is releasing. You can get into more detail in our documentation. In this video, I'm going to give you a quick explanation on how it works, show you some demos, and get you up to speed so you can get the most out of your AI coding sessions. Okay, let's get into some examples and demos. We'll start with the context engine MCP. Here we have a little understanding on what it is. Essentially, it's giving semantic understanding, relational awareness to your agent. So it doesn't have to rely on keyword matching. It'll index your whole code base and be able to query it in natural language, getting results faster and more aligned with your intent. So there's a local and a remote version. The local version is generally recommended as it will re-index your code base as soon as any changes are made, making sure you always have the up-to-date index. The remote server might be preferred if you're just trying out for the first time and you want to quickly see what it's like, or if you want to query external repositories outside of your working directory and have semantic search over those. The indexing is done on the back end and not on your local machine, so the index will only get updated when new commits are pushed to that GitHub repository. Okay, let me show you both. Let's quick start in Claude Code for starters. When you go into those docs, you can see the local server config or the remote config. For the local session, you will need to install the Augie CLI, which you can do with npm, and then you will run Augie login to log in and authenticate your session. Once that is done, you can run the next command to add the MCP to Claude Code. If you do scope user, the MCP will be available in all projects. You can also scope it to just that particular project. Once that is done, if you go /MCP in Claude, you should see Augie. It might be disabled. You just press enter to enable it. ESC to go back. It will connect and you should see a green check there once it's connected. That's all we need. We'll press ESC to go back. Now this tool will be available to your AI agent so it gets that powerful semantic understanding of your code base. So I asked the question. Here, whenever the call is made, you can see the tool called codebase retrieval, as well as the natural language queries that the agent makes to return the info. If we go Control-O, we can see the exact snippets that are returned to the agent as well. Bam, and we get answers much faster than we probably would have with grep-like searches. Okay, now let's try the remote MCP. We'll go back into the docs, into the remote server, and here we can actually go to our dashboard page and make sure the GitHub app is installed. Here we can see I have Augment Code installed with all the repositories. You can select only certain ones if you want to. Okay, once we have that, we can either generate a personal API token, which some agents like Codex will need. For Claude Code, we don't actually need the personal API token. We can just use this remote server. Okay, after that's added, we can just run Claude again. And if I go /MCP here, we can see Augie needs authentication here. So we'll press enter and press authenticate, enter again. And now it should open up a browser window. And after we auth successfully, it should say authentication successful. And in Claude Code, it'll say authentication successful. Now, if we go back into MCP, we can see Augie is connected here. So now because the Augment GitHub app actually has all my repositories indexed, I can ask questions about external repos. So you can press enter to go in and re-authenticate with a new account potentially. Let's also view the tools. So we can see this actually will take in the branch and the repo name and owner. So by default, this tool probably won't know the author and repo name. So you might have to specify that in your prompt. So I'll give you an example. Query the code base for AJ47 Discord bot. Populate what we find. Okay, and yeah, we can see when the Augment Code search tool is now done, it'll search for the repo owner, repo name, and the query. So it's getting information from external repositories to help bring that context into my current task. Okay, that should be pretty much all you need to know to get started with the MCP, both local and remote. Each agent kind of has a different configuration flow from each other, but you can see all the quick start guides in our documentation. Let's move on to the next two parts of the context services. Firstly, the context engine SDK. This gives you a programmable, scriptable way to get fine-grained control of the context engine. There's a TypeScript and a Python SDK, and you can specify exactly what goes into the index. A great example of this is the context connectors. Context connectors is an open source library built on top of the Context Engine SDK, which enables some really powerful use cases. You can learn how to index any Git repo and website you have access to, wrap that in an MCP, store the indexes in S3, perform auto-indexing through GitHub Actions or webhooks, and there's some advanced recipes too. Let me show you probably the most common use case to index Git repos. You just npm install the context connectors module, set up your Augment credentials as well as credentials for either GitHub, GitLab, or Bitbucket, depending on what you're using. Then you can use the context connectors CLI to index any repository you have access to by specifying the owner, the repo name, and a name for the index. In this case, we've done React by Facebook and named it React. When that's done, you'll see indexing complete, and then you can use the same CLI to do semantic search over that same index. In this case, we've done how does the reconciliation algorithm work in the index React, and the CLI will output the answer. You can wrap this service or fork the underlying code to make your own apps and workflows using context connectors and the Context Engine SDK. This really opens up a lot of capabilities to bring superpowers not only to your AI coding agents, but other workflows within the ecosystem. Excited to see what everyone builds, and if you have any comments, please leave them on our subreddit. Thank you.